What's good, everybody? It's your boy Tico on Blitz, back at it again with another video. And today is yet again another tank review. Today we are going to be looking at not a collector or premium heavy this time, but a tech tree heavy. This is the IS-7, the tier 10 Soviet tech tree heavy that has pretty much anything that you can ask for. Armor, damage outputs, and maneuverability along with that. We can see, based on the stats, that the armor is pretty solid, having a maximum amount of 240 on the front of its turret and 150 hull armor on the front along with that, combined with a whopping 2,703 hit points, making it one of the highest hit point factors in Tier 10. If we were to take a look at the armor profile of the IS-7, you could see that the majority of the upper plate and the turret is just going to be an auto ricochet. This is up against an E100 right here. We can see that the upper plate of this tank is upwards of 306 millimeters thick. But if we're loading premium, that's where it all changes. It's still going to be an auto ricochet, making it upwards of at least 350 millimeters thick. The only way that you're going to be able to cut through this vehicle is if it ends up angling at the slightest bit. As you can see right here, when angling the tank, you're pretty much going to cut through the side of the upper plate. However, one of the downsides to this tank, although it is a heavy and has pretty good amounts of armor, it ends up having one of the most vulnerable ammo racks in the game. You can see that the ammo rack is located upon the upper portion of the upper plate. You can see right here that it's only 242 millimeters thick, which means if you angle the tank slightly like this in this scenario and hit one of these spots right here, either this one or that one in the 242 millimeter range, then you're pretty much going to ammo rack the tank at the slightest bit possible. The tank itself also carries 6 degrees of gun depression. It's not really going to be much to poke over the solid ridge lines, but sometimes it could be used effective when you're going over the slightliest of ridge lines. Against an E100 right here, the turret cheeks right here are pretty much going to be the only weak spot. However, when hold down, it's still going to be that much of a hard hit because they're only 315 to 360 millimeters thick. You have a very slight hatch on the top of the roof, only 101 millimeters thick, but good luck trying to pen that. It's like it's not even there on the tank. Here's the side of the vehicle, and to get kind of a visual on where the ammo rack would be on the side of the IS-7, it would either be right in between these two track wheels right here, ranging from 147 millimeters thick, to like the upper portion right here of between the turret and the side portion of the tank, ranging in from only 195 millimeters thick. Turret is what you would typically expect. There is another port of the ammo rack that's on the back side of the turret right here, ranging from only 207 millimeters thick. However, when we load premium, the sides of the tank become much of a troll. You can see that this portion right here is ranging upwards of 279 millimeters thick, but there's going to be a lot of times when you could see that there is going to be a lot more ricochets that you would expect when this tank is facing its side. It is extremely troll. And of course, here's the back of the vehicle. It's pretty much a little bit on the higher end because this tank is pretty much vulnerable to HEs. Because this tank is not as much vulnerable to HEs as you would typically expect, which means that HEs are only going to have a damage output within somewhere between this range. It's not going to be about the maximum damage output that you would expect, but it's still going to be pretty decent. The tank also comes in with a damage per minute output of 2,403 with an 11.48 second reload time. I'd say that's about average for a heavy. It's not the best, but it's still there to get the job done. Average penetration, we could see on the standard ammo that it's upwards of 268. And the armor-piercing composite rigid, aka the premium shells, come in at 336 millimeters, and high explosive ranging in it's only 75. The average damage output on this tank is 460 on the standard, 390 on the premium, and 600 on the high explosive. Maneuverability-wise, the tank is actually okay in terms of maneuverability. It has a top speed of 42 kilometers per hour with a reverse of 15, Power to weight ratio of 16.3. It's going to be a little bit longer than you would expect to get up to its top speed. Hull turn rate is 34.89 and turret turn rate is 18.82. Another thing to note about the IS-7 that I absolutely love is the fact that it carries what's called tungsten rounds, and that means shells with a tungsten core deal 105 to 125% of average damage, which means that when activated, you'll be able to do more than your average damage outputs. And here we are in our first game. Looks like they have a Chieftain Mark 6 against us, a VZ-55, and an Emil 2 in terms of heavies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way over towards the right side of the map because I have solid maneuverability with this tank. You can see that the power to weight seems to be as decent as I expected it to be because of the fact that we got over a slight ridgeline that is pointed downhill so that we can get to our top speed in a matter of seconds, which is going to happen right here. Yes, you can see 44 kilometers per hour was our top that we got up to. I usually like to sit in this area right here and peck off some tanks just in case if they decide to come over this way. But there is a more popular spot, and that is right in town. We can see that they have a 907 over here who is capturing base C. And it looks like they have two of their heavies over here, so I'm going to poke in over here and get a nice shot into the Chieftain Mark 6 for 456. And he is brought down a majority of his hit points. So, let's see. The 907 is over here as well. I want to see if he can poke out and see if I can get a shell into. We also got that Emil 2 who's over towards the side right here. So what do I want to do at this point? Alright. I'm probably just going to say, oh, there's the 907 right there. We're going to get a nice slap for 469 into the side of his vehicle. Nice. And we're already upwards of 900 damage, almost close to 1k, which is pretty ideal. We got that Chieftain who's probably going to make a poke right here in just a couple seconds. And we also got that WT. We're going to activate our tungsten round and get a very nice HE for 696 in the back of his tank. We did get penned by the Emil, but I could care less. We got a pretty solid roll on the turret of the WT. Got the VZ right over here. We're going to get a nice shot for 528. We are able to trade the shell with him as he only does 379 to me. We're just going to continue right here. That Chieftain is going to try to get away. I'm probably not going to reload my tank in time, which I don't. So I'm just going to continue. Oh, we still got that Emil 2 over here. I want to be careful, though, because that Emil 2 has an auto-reloading clip, and I don't want to be, and I don't want my hit points to be down to literally smithereens. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to sit back here a little bit. The Tortoise does get a clear into the VZ-55, which is good. So I'm just going to continue to make my way over here. There is that 907 who's crossing right over there. I'm not able to spot him. So the majority of the enemies seem to be low health. So I'm just going to continue making my way over here towards the Emil 2 and get a nice shot into him for 457. And we're going to activate our acceleration reload time, or accelerated reload, my apologies. And, oh, there is the WT. We're going to finish him off real quick. And that Emil 2 is in the range where I can finish him off. So we're just going to get back on up right here. He's probably going to try to get into a scrape, but that's not going to make much of a difference. Bit of a low roll, 357, but we are still able to finish this guy off. Never mind, the Sheridan actually finishes him off. So the only tank that's left is that 183 who is down on hit points, and we are able to finish him off. Nice. So that was a pretty solid game demonstrating the good factors about the IS-7. We were able to do 3,400 damage, and let's see the results afterwards. 1,220 damage blocked. We were able to pull a second class on that one with 2 kills and do top on the team once again. And here we are on game number 2 here on Canyon. Let's see what they've got up against us. A Stritzvon K, an IS-8, and a K91 in terms of heavies. So what I am going to do is I am going to make my way over towards the left side right over here towards the C base, because the majority of heavy tanks really just like going this way over towards the C base. So we're going to go ahead and use that solid maneuverability that this tank has and make our way over towards C. I'm expecting now some of their heavies are going to be coming over towards this way. Some of the mediums are going to be where the E50M is, poking over towards the other side of the ridgeline. Oh, and we got the Stritzvon K in sight. He seems to be over on the other side of the map. We do have something in C, though. It is the 907. So we're just going to continue moving on forward. We have a K91 over here as well, who's trying to peck some guys off that are trying to go up on the side. We're not able to get a shell into him, but hopefully he does make another poke. I saw that he fired only 2 shells. I don't know if he has a third in his clip. And that 907 looks like he is probably going to bail, as we have 2 other tanks that are going to be rushing him, the Minnow and such. So there is the K91. He decides to poke. We're going to get a nice 433 slap into him. The T100 LT is also going to be moving on upwards. We are still able to see the K91 as we are going to get yet another miss. Okay, that's not what I expected. Looks like one of our guys got cleared, the IS-8, so now all it is just the 907. I don't know why that Minnow was deciding to bail, but we're going to get another... Wow. One of the potential downsides of the IS-7 is that the dispersion factors of this tank don't really lead you to such good causes, as you just saw right there. So we are now going to get a nice slap into the T100 LT for 436. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm probably just going to make my way... Oh, there's the K91 right there. That Stritz Von K decided he wanted to move on over. So I'm just going to stay right in this little spot right here so I don't get pecked off by tanks in case if they are in the back right there. So I want to see if one of these guys are going to be able to poke. The T100 LT is going out into the open, and we're going to get a nice shot for 472. Someone else hit him as well. I haven't activated my tungsten shells yet because I want to use them at a good time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way down over here and see if I can get a clearing shot into the T100 LT. We're going to activate the tungsten rounds. He is going to get in a scrape, but we are able to finish him off. Now, there's the K91. He does get a shot into me, but he gets absolutely demolished in the end. Now, we can see the T110E4, but I'm scared to poke. There is 2 tanks over towards the right side, the IS-8 and the JG. I should be okay in terms of that. The T110E4 does try to get an HE into me. He does end up killing my driver in the process, which is not ideal. I want to be careful, though, because I think that Stritz Von K is not going to be able to spot me. There's the E4 right here. So what we're going to try to do... I don't have the gun depression. The only thing I could really try to do, poke over the tracks like that. There we go. Nice 575 max roll into the T110E4 as we bring his health down to literally nothing. So we're just going to continue to make our way over here. Hopefully those guys do not end up spotting us. We are up on base cap too. So we got the side of the turret of the T110E4. Unfortunately, that bounced. So I'm just going to stay in a scrape right here. Hopefully, oh, he does end up penning me. But that's not really going to make a difference as we are going to finish him off. Nice. There is the Stritz Von K who sees me over here. I have a dead driver, bro. I hope you don't mind. But anyways, it doesn't really make much of a difference. We still win on base cap. That was pretty much a lucky game right there, if I'm not going to be mistaken. So this game, we were able to do 29-13, pull a 3rd class, and I assume we did top on the team. Nope, we were the 2nd most. I'm just going to go ahead and do one more game just to showcase the impressive abilities of the IS-7. And here we are in game number 3 here on New Bay. Let's see what they got up against us. An M4, MLE-54, a Kron in terms of heavy tanks. Alrighty. So it looks like the majority of them are just tank destroyers and 2 lights while at it. Okay. Or not 2 lights, a light and a medium. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to make our way towards B and C side right over here because I want to demonstrate the armor outputs of this tank, or try my best to. So we're just going to make our way over to this side. We're just going to break the fence right here. Slightly tap that. See if any of the enemies are going to decide to want to come towards this way. We did get spotted, so that tells me that some of the enemy team is over here, and for the fact that they are capturing base C while at it. So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can get into a scrape right here. There is the Kron on that side right there, so I just want to make my way backing up because that Kron's turret is pretty much impervious like we saw in the last battle. That is not a tank I want to be messing with right there. Alright, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to chill right here for a moment. Looks like some of the enemies are going towards A side, which is not ideal. Ooh, the Jad Tiger did get an ammo rack into him. There is the M60 right over to the side right here. There's the Yag. We're able to get a nice shot for 421 in the Yag Panzer, so... It looks like majority of tanks are over here. We're going to activate the tungsten shells, get a nice spot. Oh, we did end up hitting his fuel tank and catching the M60 on fire. That's pretty good. So now the Yak Panzer is going to come into here, and we're just going to finish him off right there. Nice. And we do have a tank that's trying to come in behind us, the 183, which is not ideal. So I'm just going to turn my tank over right here and get a terrible tracking shot into the 183. I'm just going to go over here. He did get shot, so I'm just going to make my way over here so that the enemies don't end up continuing to hit me. So the Kron ended up getting a shot into me. We're going to get a nice shot into the 183 right here, and he is dead. So now, what do they got? They have, oh, we have a WZ who's eyeballing me. Yep, for 619 damage. I'm just going to back on up right here and see if I can get some more shots into the Kron. But we do have that M60 who's coming over towards the side right here as well. So we're going to get a nice 501 shot into him. I don't really care about the Kron at the moment. Good, the M60 gets cleared, so that means we can start making our way. Oh, Kron is finished off as well. That is really good. So we are going to continue to make our way over towards this side of the map right here and see if we can get some shells into the enemy WZ. Oh, I don't know why I ended up hitting that wall right there. We could see the WZ right there. We were able to get a shot, and we get a bounce from him as well. His shell went what seems to be a little bit too high. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about him. I just want to help out my M60 right over here because that BC is coming down towards the other side of the map. We're up on base cap again, supremacy mode as always. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way over towards this side right here. My tungsten shells are coming back too. So we're just going to continue making our way over towards this side. The BC is going up on the bridge right here. So what we're going to do is see if we can get some more shots into the BC. Oh, I don't have the gun to elevation for that. So it looks like the BC, one way or another, is going to be finished off if we're going to be able to hit that shot. Yes! Beautiful! We are able to get a clear into the BC, and that is a flat-out dub. Although I didn't really expect damage-wise that this tank would be doing how much as I expected it would be, we were able to still block a massive chunk of damage. Yep, 1040. It's not really that bad, but yep, that is pretty much going to be what the IS-7's playstyle is going to be like, guys. Because the fact that you have so much armor on a heavy tank like this, and you have the hit points to trade a lot of shells with other enemies, along with those tungsten rounds to get a better damage output than your average amount of damage per minute, it really factors within the playstyle of the IS-7. My personal opinion, I love the tank for how it is. I don't think it should receive any forms of nerfs or buffs in the very next update. I just want it to be kept the way it is. I'm really glad that Wargaming decided they wanted to buff the gun after the previous update because it couldn't pen jack squat. Anyways, hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out, y'all.